Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Thursday today, and on Thursdays, I share a mystery challenge with you. And I asked you to come. I shared what it will be in advance and hope that you'll come and make a project with me. So today it's a tic-tac-toe challenge, which is one of my favorite kinds of challenges because it gives you so many options of what actually that you can use. So I shared the tic-tac-toe earlier, and there are 9 squares. And so the goal on a tic-tac-toe is to pick a row, a line, whatever, 3 in a row, either vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. So I'm going to switch over and show you the tic-tac-toe, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. And hopefully, good morning or good evening. I don't know, good afternoon. It's afternoon on the West Coast here, but wherever you are, welcome. I'm glad you're joining. All right, so this was the tic-tac-toe I shared earlier. And like I said, there are 3, you choose 3 boxes in a row, whether it's horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. What I'm going to use are the heat embossing, the thank you, and flowers. Oh, 10 p.m. there. Okay, getting a little late. And so I'm going in diagonally in that way, but you could choose anything. So I thought, given that it's getting close to spring, at least where I live, spring pink heat embossing or a spring thank you green. So, lots of options for you to choose from. Don't forget, if you are on my Facebook group, share your projects, because each month, although I have to admit I'm a little bit behind being away, I have to do it yet for, I share, if you share some projects or a project, I do a draw each month and send out happy mail. So I have to do it for February and March. Like I said, I'm a little bit behind, but so still time actually for you to get some shares in, and maybe you'll get some happy mail. All right, so the 3 things I need to use are heat embossing, thank you, and flowers. So I'm going to use the Lovely and Sweet stamp set. So it has flowers on it. I'm going to do some heat embossing with this particular image, do a little bit of embossed resist using some pretty colors, neutral colors. And then the thank you is the thanks from the ice cream swirl. So that will give me heat embossing, flowers, and the thank you from the tic-tac-toe. All right, so here's my supplies. Like I said, I'm going to use some neutrals. So I've got Pebbled Path. So this stamp set was from the Nature's Sweetness collection. The stamp set and the paper is being carried. This stamp set, it was actually a mega sweet. It had 2 bundles in it. So of the 2 bundles, this Lovely and Sweet is being carried over, as is the Designer Series paper, which is really cool. Hey, Pam. Thank you, Zana. Is it Zana? Please tell me if I've got that right. Zana? Not sure how to pronounce your name. Okay, so 4 1/4 by 11 on this Pebbled Path, scored at 5 1/2. And as always, you fold into the mountain or the raised line. I've got my bone folder. Okay, so then decided to do some layering. I love this. This is one of the patterns in the Nature Sweetness Designer Series paper. So it's Pebbled Path with gold script. The other side is Pecan Pie. So I'm going to use that. That's 4 inches by 5 1/4. Lots of layers. So, and then I've got a piece of gold foil, which I think it's kind of playing with sizes. So this is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I've got a piece of basic white that I did just a little bit smaller. So this is actually 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. So you're just going to get Anna. Okay, Zana. Thank you. Okay, perfect. All right. So just a little peekaboo of the gold. Okay, so I'm going to do heat emboss, emboss resist, and I'm going to add a bit of a collage to it. Oh, I don't want that yet. That's the gold embossing powder. So the first thing I need is some Versamark and my embossing buddy. So first of all, I'm going to go over my piece of basic white cardstock with my embossing buddy. It just kind of takes the static off. and I'm going to stamp, ink up my big image, and I'm going to put it kind of off to the center because I'm going to do emboss resist, but I'm going to do a bit of a collage technique. So I've got that with the Versamarks. This is the only image that I'm actually going to do the embossing powder on, and I'm using gold. Often when you do emboss resist, you use clear or white, but I decided I was going to use gold because I've kind of got a gold theme going on. So I use a spoon. I know not everybody does, but I keep my embossing powder in a plastic container, and just because I find I don't make such a mess when I have it kind of all in one spot. Hello, I'm not sure who that is that managed to join me through Facebook, but welcome. All right, hopefully you can still hear me. I'm going to just take my heat tool and hold it in one place and still it till it starts to melt, and you will see the embossing powder go from that kind of dull matte finish to a shiny finish. And you can definitely see the gold. I don't know if you can start to appear there. You just get to see the gold. So I hold it in place over the image until it starts to melt, and then you can start slowly moving it around the image until all of that powder is melted. It's still such an amazing, I love heat embossing because it's kind of magical. All right, there we go. I think I've got it. So I'm going to let that just dry a little bit, because I do find that if I start going at it too quickly, now I've pulled out Smoky Slate, and I'm going to use Crumb Cake as well. And I just need another brush. So brand new. It is magical, I know. I'm going to start with the Crumb Cake. And when I use my blending brushes, I keep the lid open. I pick up some color, kind of tap off, and then I'm just going to kind of blend the color over. I try to start kind of off the side. If you're doing that with the glass mat and you're going to put cardstock down on it, you might want to just wipe it off before you actually start putting other cardstock on. I just find sometimes you get the ink, the color on other pieces of cardstock, and then you have to kind of start again. I'm going to add some more color. I'm going to add some more layers to this. Okay, so that's the Crumb Cake. And then I'm going to take and add a bit of pecan pie. And mostly I'm just going to go kind of over my image with the pecan pie. I just want to add a little bit of additional color. And then the last thing I'm going to do, and you can go as light or dark with your colors as you want. So I've got another blending brush, and I'm just going to pick up, and I'm just going to try and not get a ton. I'm just going to try and add some, this is Pebbled Path. Oh, what happened there? Okay, well, that wasn't what I wanted to happen. I don't know what happened. That's why I try to rub off, but we're going to manage with that. You never know what might come of this. Oh, I've got a lot of Pebbled Path on my brush somehow. Okay, well, now I've got some definitely dark splotches that I didn't expect, but that's okay. We're going to use some Pebbled Path, and we're going to continue to do some stamping to do some emboss resist. So I've got a piece of grid paper here, scrap. I'm just going to take and I'm stamping off, just adding some additional layers to my piece. Like I said, I really wasn't expecting that those splodges, but maybe they'll be okay. Who knows? All right, so some more flowers, some background images, just really kind of creating that collage effect by kind of stamping over. And then the last one that I'm going to do in crumb cake. And there is this cool grid stamp that comes in it. So I'm going to kind of finish it off. Like I said, I have no idea what's going on with this dark, but I'm just going to take just kind of going over. I'm just really layering. If you've ever done collage, you're just really keep adding the layers until you've decided you've had enough. And you're hardly even noticing my embossing. Now I am going to take, I've got a dry baby wipe here. That's looking really dark on it. It's not looking nearly as dark. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the ink that went over the emboss. Now, I think I want to add a little bit more of this pecan pie, since I've got a lot of dark, kind of that pebbled path got really dark there. I'm just going to kind of go in and add a little bit more pebbled pie. Pecan pie. I've created a new color. All right. Now I'm hoping that the gold foil, it's probably a really good thing that I decided to add gold foil to my card, because this is looking quite dark, at least on mine. So there we go. We got lots of layers here with stamping and the ink. But that's kind of a collage card with a bit of gold embossing. So we can start putting this together. So I'm going to use the liquid glue, and I'm going to glue this piece onto my gold foil. And as I said, there'll just be a peekaboo of the gold foil. Now my piece of basic white, sometimes this happens with the heat emboss. It kind of warped a little bit. So I use a glue dot. Oopsie, didn't mean to make that noise. I'm just going to use a glue dot. It's kind of popped up here. It's not sticking. And so I don't want to add more liquid glue, because the liquid glue will kind of splodge out. So I'm just going to take a glue dot and just kind of tuck under there, press down on it, and that way that little section will be glued down. And now I can take and glue this down onto this piece of designer series paper. There we go. I got another section there that's popping up a little bit. So as your glue kind of starts to dry, you may find other sections where it's just warped a little bit from the heat embossing. So you can just use glue dots to kind of glue that on. Okay, this is the 1/8 inch 1/8 inch gold ribbon. It comes in gold and silver. So I'm going to tie a bow with this. Gold's my favorite. I seem to always use the gold. I probably should start making some cards that have silver on them, or else I'm going to have to put in the suggestion box for Stampin' Up! To just sell this in gold so that I can replenish my gold. All right, I'm going to tie this bow close to the right hand side. I always turn my card base upside down so that I can control where the tails go, because I do want them to be going towards the bottom of the card. And I've got my tweezers here to act as a extra hand to hold that in place so it doesn't loosen up. There we go. Like that. Good. So I've got my, I just want a little bow, so we'll make it. And then we can do like that. I'll trim that up in just a minute. And then I'm going to use liquid glue. Now, I often will use Stampin' Seal when I have ribbon on the back of my card, and I want to make sure the ribbon doesn't let go. But because I've got this tied in a bow on the front, I'm less concerned about the ribbon letting go. All right, so we've got that. Now I've got some pebbled path, and I'm going to emboss my sentiment. So I've got the thanks stamp from that ice cream swirl. He's my embossing buddy. So I'm just going to take and stamp that using a Versamark. There we go. So I've got my gold embossing powder. And now my heat tool. Again, hold it in one spot. Yeah, thank you. I think it did turn out all right, despite those blotches. Don't know what, I'm going to have to really clean my blending brushes. I'm quite lazy with that, and so thinking it's time. There we go. And now I'm just going to take, if you watch me, you know I like to fussy cut my sentiments. So I'm just going to take and just kind of follow the line or follow the letters around and just fussy cut around this like that. Steering with the hand that's holding the paper makes it much easier. Every once in a while I kind of, if the paper is getting kind of in the way, just kind of cut it off. And I think the gold embossing makes that stand out just enough. No, I'm going to pop this up. This dimensional is just a little bit big, so we'll trim that. Could have used mini dimensionals, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to just put thanks right there. And then the last thing, of course, I have, these are the in color dots, and of course it has pebbled path, but the other color it has that works really well with gold are the wild wheat. So what am I going to use? Let's see. I have a hard time even with my take your pick tool. These ones, they want to seem to, I think I'm going to use the pebbled path. I was thinking wild wheat, but I think I have enough gold on here. So we will use pebbled path. Oops. There we go. And I've got a piece of basic white that's 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I've got a piece of this lovely, hey, Johanna, welcome. This lovely designer series paper that is 3/4 of an inch by 4. Make sure you get your words going the right way, because you can, not that I can necessarily read all the words, but you can read individual words on it. So if you're like me, where it would really bug you if those were going the wrong way, make sure your words are, you aren't upside down. There we go. My sentiment is not looking straight to me, so we're just going to shift it up a little bit. There we go. All right, there we go. So that's my card. Again, I did it based on my tic-tac-toe challenge.
Okay, Betty is sitting on my shoulder telling me to put my lid on my glue. So this was the tic-tac-toe, and I did heat embossing, thank you, and flowers. And there are flowers on my images. So you can pick 3 boxes in any direction line and whichever line or row you want, and make a project and share it on my Facebook group. If you're not part of my Facebook group, the link to it is underneath this video, so you can join, and maybe I'll be sending you some happy mail if you share your projects. I love to see what you're working on, so it doesn't have to be related to any of my lives or where I kind of challenge you to make a card. Just share what you're working on. I love to see what everybody's working on. All right, so it's Thursday today. I will be back live on Saturday at 11 a.m. with a project for you, so hopefully you can join me then. Otherwise, until then, have a great day and happy stamping. Bye, everybody.